The trial grabbed headlines around the world.
I'm Alec Murdaugh.
Alec Murdaugh, once head of a prominent South Carolina legal dynasty, standing trial for the murders of his wife and son. And overseeing the high-profile case, Judge Clifton Newman. Were you surprised by the attention, the extent of it?
I probably shouldn't have been surprised. High-profile lawyer, death of a wife, death of a child, accusations of stealing millions of dollars from clients, allegations of a lawyer hooked on drugs. It had all the ingredients for something of major public interest.
It all started on the night of June 7th, 2021, when Alec Murdaugh called police, claiming he found his wife Maggie and son Paul shot to death on the family's country estate. Turns out that call was just one in a long series of lies exposed during Murdaugh's 6-week trial.
I wanted to give them as much accurate information as I could.
Lies about where he'd been the night his wife and son were killed. Lies about a staged suicide attempt, admissions about drug abuse, and allegations of stealing millions of dollars from his clients. Through it all, Judge Newman, widely seen as a calming presence and by-the-book jurist. In the end, it took the jury less than 3 hours to convict Murdaugh. Were you surprised at all by the speed with which the jury came back with the verdict?
I wasn't. My experience in recent years is that jurors don't take a long time deliberating after they've spent weeks and weeks and weeks listening to testimony and receiving evidence.
Last March, Judge Newman sentenced Murdaugh to 2 life sentences while declaring he'd be forced to live with what he'd done.
Within your own soul, you have to deal with that. And I know you have to see Paul and Maggie during the night times when you're attempting to go to sleep. I'm sure they come and visit you.
Pretty powerful.
Yeah.
You think that he'll be haunted by his wife and son?
No, I think so. It has to be. I cannot imagine him having a peaceful night knowing what he did. I'm sure if he had an opportunity to do it over again, he'd never do it.
Judge Newman's reserved demeanor on the bench drawing many admirers. His story made more impressive by where it started, in a segregated school in a small South Carolina town, inspired by the landmark case Brown versus the Board of Education. He went to law school and became a prosecutor before becoming a judge in 2000. One of his daughters, Jocelyn, following in his footsteps, is now a state judge too. So growing up, you would see Dad in court, in action.
It was kind of scary. He was a good prosecutor. I would sit in the jury box and watch him at work.
Judge Newman and her father talk often. In fact, they even share the same judges' chambers. So she had a front row seat as he made headlines from the bench in the Murdaugh trial.
I knew it was a big deal, but it probably happened even before that. Just scrolling through Instagram and seeing a Dateline post about Alex Murdaugh was just amazing. I'm pretty sure I took a screenshot of that and sent it around to the family.
Judge Clifton Newman plans to retire this fall. As his legal career comes to a close, he reflected on Murdaugh and his most high-profile case.
Felt sorry for him, felt that that he was just in a position where he could not, where if there's a hole that he could go into, he would dive in that hole and keep going to the lowest depths. And I wasn't trying to pull him out of that hole, but I wanted to give him an opportunity to say something.